Thanks for staying with us. One of Nigeria's most underutilized sectors is the informal sector. And joining us on the show this morning is a social commentator and public affairs analyst. He will be discussing how we can harness the informal sector for our nation's economic development, wealth creation for many of its populace, jobs and other employment opportunities and benefits, how to create wealth and how to start and maintain a formidable business. Welcome with us, Mr. Victor Kalu.
Thank you. Thank you very
Good
much.
morning.
Good morning.
It seemed like you wanted to jump into the other conversation we're having.
Well, it's connected actually to the informal sector.
Okay, let's hear you.
Because majority of Nigerians work in the informal sector. I started my career in the FMCG sector, and when I joined this company, I wanted to be posted. FMCG is fast-moving consumer goods. I was selling relaxer. I wanted to be posted to the town to sell, but I was sent to trade fair. When I got to trade fair, I saw
Business 101.
I saw young Igbo boys that were selling products, they were selling articles, and they were in serious money, not small money. And most of these guys are not even fully what they call documented enterprises, but they were doing billions. They were importing, they were selling, they were distributing to not only Nigeria, to West Africa. And they were making a lot of money. Most of those guys are less than 25 years of age, most of those Igbo guys. So, sorry to not align with you, someone that is 25 years of age can actually make billions of naira in this country. Because the informal sector is a huge opportunity. Everybody talks about it, but are we really harnessing it in the country?
Yeah, what does the informal sector cover?
So the informal sector is that sector of the economy, it's productive sector that is not registered with CAC, that is not regulated by any agency of government, and you know that their business is not really structured as well. Their business is not structured. Maybe they don't have. Some of them, for instance, I talked about trade fair. They have a shop in the markets, but they are not well. You know, the major denominator is that they are not registered with CAC and they are not properly regulated.
Okay.
So, the interesting part about the informal sector is, I've been wondering how, when the conversation is around how Nigeria can harness the informal sector, because the informal sector is thriving on its own. Do we really need to harness it? Can we not just let them be doing their own? Because by the time government took hand inside something, the next thing they now say they want to start taxing, this is the amount of money here, let us enter it, and we might end up having it being unraveled in front of us. What could be an advice? It's not just better we just leave it as it is.
So that's a good question, but I'll give you certain numbers. Nigeria's budgets, Nigeria's GDP, 10% of Nigeria's GDP comes from the formal sector.
Oh.
Yes. So even the employment, if you notice, when this government came into office, they readjusted our unemployment numbers to say that more Nigerians are employed that people usually say, because 80% of Nigeria's employment is generated from the informal sector. Okay, and also Nigeria's budget as it is today, only about 10% of it comes from internally generated revenue from taxes. So the GDP, 37 trillion naira of GDP generated by the informal sector does not get into government revenue to fund development in the country. So the government goes about looking for money to borrow to fund its budget, whereas it's generating 37 untaxed revenue from the informal sector. So if you say the informal sector should be left alone, you know, how will the country develop when the federal government is not generating any form of revenue from the informal sector? They are thriving. And also, the informal sector actually does not know its potential. So I'm going to tell you this. So my company has business with the informal sector. There is this woman, I'll tell you a case in point. This woman sells bole, and she has 6 children. Her husband abandons her and runs away because of economic challenge. So she was really crying and she was suicidal. So when one of our staff met her, she said, I said, Bole, I don't have anything, I want to die. The woman said, but you have something, you're selling Bole. She said, what is Bole? To cut a long story short, they got her to start saving 2,000 naira from her Bole. Daily. Within 3 months, this woman had over 300,000 naira saved. She moved from selling Bole on the road. She bought more equipment, rented a small shop, and she's moving. The person, mechanics are in the informal sector.
Okay.
A mechanic can repair 3-4 vehicles in a day.
Yeah.
And he makes 10,000 naira each, and that's 40,000 naira multiplied by 30 days. That's over $1 million. But a typical mechanic will have a wife in the hospital, give birth. He cannot afford to pay for the hospital bills. But if you check the wealth that they are generating, it is enormous. So should they be left alone for not being able to harness their wealth? Then the major point also is the value addition from the government and from the society to the informal sector. People that work in normal office environment, you realize that even as a broadcaster, maybe after 2-3 years, you go for training to upgrade your skill. You want to do better. You want to be better in broadcasting. You want to do better. But people in the informal sector, there is no formal training to upgrade their skills. Things as little as laying of tiles, Nigerians are importing experts to do that.
Do that now. Yeah.
Because the person doing the tile
Papa Jimo
will stay forever. No skill upgrade, no form of training. He is just continuing that way.
So that's their
so the informal sector should actually be, it's actually the backbone of the Nigerian economy. I've talked about the potential. 63% of Nigeria's budget is borrowed. Yet only 10% of our GDP is taxed. Wow. 80% of our revenue comes from the informal sector. So if we can just let the informal sector contribute to the development of this country, we will not have to borrow.
from outside.
Yes. But the informal sector, I'll delve into that if you permit me, or maybe I should leave it, maybe I'm going to ask the question.
We have more questions.
We have more questions.
Yeah, so the informal sector is like an elephant that is in a room that has all this big potential. You ask yourself, why is government only able to tax 10%? Banks are not CBN has talked about financial inclusion. How many people from the informal sector have been onboarded? I came from the telecom sector. I was divisional manager for Globalcom. I was different positions. And one of the key challenges we face is how do we even register a SIM card to the woman on the street in the market. I was reading an article this morning. A guy launched a pension for the informal sector. The business crashed. I'm going to tell you how even all these people can harness the informal sector. He could not penetrate the informal sector because there is one missing link. Even President Tinubu, when he came in, he launched VAT collection. I was in a hotel. One of my friends who's a lawyer was consulting for them. So when the hotel where they were having this meeting, to collect VAT, because he has a vision to increase internally generated revenue through tax, through VAT, they called the informal sector, the Association of Market Women, to collect VAT. Oh, yeah, collect the VAT now. There is something that is missing. I'm going to share that thing that is missing.
Okay, hold on.
So I'm going to
that. Yes. So who's ready to go?
Okay, so thank you. You're the guest for today.
Honestly.
Because our earlier topic was, about, better options and getting
how
money
to,
that gives dignity. And I like that you brought it, because I live near the trade fair. I see these people and how big boys. How they
imagine most of them not taxed.
Yes, most of them are not taxed.
Wealthy, yeah.
But in Lagos State, I don't know about other states. Lagos State has been able to do what they call the Artisan Association. So I remember the Tailors Association, they do their meetings in my old office, my old law firm building.
Yeah, they do.
So they do that, and they have a way they're taxed. But I think the local government and the state government continuously have this clash. But each of them are made to pay through the artisan group that they belong. So tailor groups, they gather and go. Yeah. And when any benefit is coming to them, they come to them as a body. So the Egbe non-finishing, the Yoruba thing called the Egbe Association, and they do it like that. But now that you're talking how to get it, I think they have the grounds already. They can go from there. I would like you to talk about, you see these boys that we are talking about, when government issue comes up, how Nigerians should take ownership. We will not start the conversation. That's where I hear the conversation most about what government has not done for me. But the trade fair is a complex government has created where you make money. Some people don't need shop. They go there. You want to buy something, I get them.
Yes.
You don't get them all. You don't go
carry you,
inside, go
carry you go
collect
another
them.
shop.
You know, and they do these businesses. But they don't agree. There's a sentiment of the mindset towards taxing that an average Nigerian has. When it's time to pay something, they're
Government has
anti.
not done anything for me.
Yeah, so I want you to address that and how the mindset
Okay,
can
so my company also collects tax for a state government. I don't want to mention the states, but we collect taxes for them, and I get asked this question in the field. And my question, I'll address the reason why the informal sector, should rush to be a part of the paying tax. Okay, my question to you, first of all, is this: you have a shop. Someone drives from his house to your shop to buy product from you. You did not build that road. Government builds it. Without the road, you will not sell your business. Secondly, you sell, after you are done with selling, you make 100,000 naira. You're able to carry that money to the bank or to your house without someone coming to point a gun in your face or collect it from you. It's government that provides opportunity for people not to do that. But I will then address the very critical reason why it's important that everybody pays tax. There's a widespread syndrome now, people that is called jackpot. So people say, I jackpot. And when they jackpot to the Americas and the Europe, they are doing better. They are doing better. They are doing better. Why are they doing better? So what are you going to do in the country you're jackpotting? Two things. If you're not going to do drugs and all that, you're going to either get a job or you're going to start a business. So why is the same business you're doing in Nigeria succeeding better there? Because I've gone to business school. What you're taught in business school is that the factors that lead to the success of your business, 90% of it is external factor. The small business that are crying now that the currency has gone up, why not go and perform your magic in your business? Why are you crying? The inflation has gone up, you are crying. But you feel that the success of your business depends on your strength as an entrepreneur. It is not so. The external environment contributes 90% of your business success. And what will help you as a business owner to have this external environment, the electricity, the good road, the microeconomic conditions to be better for you as an informal sector trader or business owner, is the ability for government to fund this critical infrastructure. Nigeria's budget today is about 37 trillion naira. South Africa's, I use in dollars, so because I use dollar per dollar. Nigeria's budget is about $20.4 billion. South Africa is $125 billion. Now, out of this Nigeria's $20 billion, only 9.8 billion comes from revenue. All of the other ones are borrowed. South Africa, the revenue from the government to fund that $125 billion, $120 billion comes from revenue from the government. If you want to buy train, how much does train cost? Some states' internally generated revenue is 50 billion naira. How much does a train cost? So the government needs money to be able to fund what we want. And the good thing is that we have the resources, the informal sector, to give us revenue. As I said earlier when I started, most of the informal sector does not even know how much money they generate. Most of our GDP does not account for a lot of the money coming from the informal sector, because most of those money don't even make it to the bank. They are hidden under the bed and all that. So,
fire bond shop, you're hearing 40 million, 400 billion are bond in the shop.
So as okay, so now I'll go to the reason why you, as an informal sector person, needs to run.
I would like her to
Okay.
get a question in because we're wrapping up. Are you ready?
Okay, no, I wanted to ask him to list the informal sectors, but as he was talking, he was really mentioning them.
Some of them.
Yeah, so
This hookup we talked about before you joined the show, is it part of the informal sector?
Ah.
And do you think they should be taxed? No, this is a question.
Well, I believe hookup, for what I understand, is illegal in Nigeria. It's illegal. So anything that is illegal,
How is it illegal?
Prostitution is illegal.
selling your
body,
yes,
selling
yeah,
your
it's
time.
illegal.
It's illegal.
And police can arrest you and you can actually go to jail. Not only that, solicitation is illegal. If you stand in your car and you're soliciting for XCS, you will.
That's why they pick up those girls on the
Yes,
street.
you
They don't pick the boys that are soliciting.
No, you can actually, because boys can say anything, you can actually be also picked up. So it's illegal in Nigeria.
Okay.
So, but I want to talk about what holds on. I say it's an elephant. That if all this would have failed in the informal sector, why are we not succeeding in the informal
Yes, you said you were going to hold something.
Yes.
Please release it before you show it.
So that thing is, I was divisional manager for data for Glo. What we are missing is data
okay.
of the informal sector. For instance, if a bank wants to
Do
register,
we have enough data for the formal sector first of all?
Yes, those ones are.
Don't have.
we have pretty much enough data. For instance, if you want to open an account for an informal sector person, you need BVN, you need NIN. 90% of them don't have it. Even the one we do, you need phone number. To register someone in the market, he or she does not have phone. You cannot collect taxes without this. You cannot open an account for them. You cannot enroll them in a pension without NIN, without BVN. So what we are trying to do is ensure that everybody in the informal sector has access to this data, and also they have access to technology. So I want to also say that I want to talk about the problems of this informal sector briefly. The informal sector gets credit at a very high cost, and that's why they are not doing well. Higher cost than the formal sector. A big boy that's running a big business will go to the bank and get a loan at, say, 20% interest per annum.
That's still a lot.
Yes, but the guy that is selling food on the road, the informal sector will go to a microfinance bank or to people that do, say, collect
3% per month. No,
you're getting at a good price at then. Per annum is more than 60% interest per annum. 60%. How?
And they'll pay.
Yes. How can the informal sector person thrive this way? Access to cheap credit helps businesses grow. Access to very expensive credit is suffocating the informal sector.
Yeah.
I talked about training. I talked about data. We want to create an ability for everybody in the informal sector to have access to the right connection to consume all these services, for government to even be able to get revenue for them through data, NIN, BVN, for everybody in the informal sector, and also the education and the skill upgrade. I believe that the government can set up a unit, a commission for the informal sector economy that will be focused on their empowerment, access to cheap credit, that will focused on the data. If 160 million Nigerians in the informal sector have access to BVN and NIN, the banking sector will experience the
I thought everybody already has NIN now because they made it
Now you
compulsory
can't
for you
use
to
your-
get your phone.
I was when NIMSI started. I was part of the head of the committee in the entire ecosystem to drive NIN. I don't know the figure, but as at last year, it was still hovering around 50-something%, even less.
Oh.
NIN. People are.
Let me just ask you this question because the farmers are fall under informal sector. They got loan and they did not pay back the loan, anchor borrower, or the financial intervention that they provided for agric sector.
So it depends on how those loans. I don't know the details of those loans because I know that part of these loans are given to in associations, in groups. Okay, so that they have a peer-to-peer monitoring, and so I don't know the details. Everybody, people from the formal sector, from the informal sector, default on loans. So I may not be able to comment on that particular case.
Exactly what happened.
Yes.
Thank you very much. We've been speaking with a data analyst, Victor Carlo, who has broken down the informal sector and how the government can wade
needs
in
to come back.
and harness. Yes, we need to have like a full day with you so you really break it down and how we also in the informal sector can take advantage of what the government has to offer as well and scale up. It's very painful that some of the trades we knew growing up, where this one is papa mechanic or carpenter or furniture maker, they die and then none of their children takes up the business and we're importing people to do that business. Imagine if they had scaled up, lands upgraded, and extended the business. We have businesses that run for hundreds of years in Nigeria. We don't have that.
Elsewhere, yes, we have.
We have outside.
Yes.
But that's all we can take on this show today. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye-bye now.